Good evening, everyone. The session is just going to begin after 5 minutes. We are waiting for the others to join as well. A pleasant evening to everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. So, can I get a thumbs up in the chat box if my voice is audible? Okay, okay. So, hello
Yes, you're
everyone.
audible, Ali.
Greetings everyone. Myself, Mohammad Abdul Ali. I'm a member of Core Committee and Events Department team in Ikigai, basically a non-judgmental organization and Asia's first and only finest community, which has been set up for a greater cause. In this busy world, as we are accessing every step, we assess a step of modern amenities, we see people becoming a victim of stress, and the level of stress is highly increasing day by day. Why is it happening? Why is it only meant for some set of people? And why aren't we dealing with it? We all must be having this question: how to manage stress, how to stay productive. We all do have this thing. So what is stress? Basically, stress is a biological demanding situation. It's a feeling of emotional and physical tension. So that's the topic of our today's discussion, guys. It's a very interesting topic, and to have a great discussion with it, we have Ms. Yugratna Rathour, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hey Mohammed, I'm well, thank you. Hey
Uh,
everyone, good evening.
Yeah, just let me give a short introduction of her. So basically, she is Miss Yugratna Rathour. She is pursuing her undergraduate in triple major courses: psychology, journalism, and communicative English. She's a creative head at Career Pandit EduTech Private Limited. She's even mentor at with International Dreams and Christ University. So she is a counseling psychologist, learner, and life enthusiast. So we can't wait to hear from you, ma'am. So let's begin our session. Over to you.
Thanks a lot for that lovely introduction. I think, could you please present the screen?
Yeah, I have been doing so.
Thanks a lot. So before I get started, I would like to thank Abdul and the entire team for giving me this opportunity. So today we are going to talk about the stress management and productivity. So, as Abdul Muhammad already explained what stress is, and now the question comes, how do we manage it? And the other part, we will be talking about productivity, which is again a very subjective issue or a question. We all are having a different idea about what productivity really is. So, starting with, can you please change the slide? Yeah. So I would like to start with a reality check. Like, we all are living, we all are doing our chores, we all are working, studying, we all are going out, meeting people. But how much time do we really take to sit down, to observe, to reflect on ourselves? So I would like to I want all of you to, whatever the questions are visible on the screen, I would like all of you to just look at it and take a moment to think that when was the last time you actually sat with yourself to think about, is life really going well? Are you stressed? What is the reason behind it? And what exactly are you doing about it to solve it? Mostly what happens is when some stressful situation comes in, we just panic, and we try to go with the easiest solution possible, but that doesn't solve the issue for a longer run. And again, when the stressful situation comes in, we are again back to the square one. So the questions like, when was the last when you felt nervous, or when you felt that things were burdened on top of you, or when was the last time when you being upset about something or emotionally unwell, and what you really did about it? So these are the couple of questions, and this is why I'm starting my presentation with these questions. Is until and unless we don't understand where the stress is coming from, if we don't understand what is the root cause of the stress, then we won't be able to find the solution. And as I said, stress and productivity, these are two very subjective topics, and we all have our different perspective towards it. So what might be stressful for me cannot be for someone else, but what is stressful for others cannot be with someone else, right? So by giving a simple example, if I feel stressful in going in out in the social atmosphere, like meeting a lot of people or talking to new people, if that makes me stressful, then that's my subjective matter, and I have to sit with myself to think why it happens, what I can do for it, right? And in the other way, it can be something else with you. So these are the questions which we should, try to reflect from time to time. And as I say, why is it important? Like, it's a very normal tendency as a human being, like giving you an example of technology. We tend to update the phones, we tend to update our technology to remain, to make the process smooth and everything. In the same way, if we don't update ourselves, if we don't keep on a regular check on ourselves, that how we are doing, how we are keeping up with our emotional health, how we are keeping up with our psychological health, how we are handling the things at work, at home, with our personal relationship. So these are very diverse areas where we have to, keep on the check from regular time to time, in order to understand what exactly it is and to create meaningful things out of it. Slide, please. So, what exactly is a stress? In the most simple way, if I would like to tell you, it is the response to any kind of pressure or demand. Okay. Now, this comes from a term in physics, and which literally means the interaction between a force and the resistance to the counter that force. Now, it's very in again giving you examples so that we all are able to understand from our day-to-day life. um, if any situation, say I give you a scenario, if we are assume that we are all afraid of dogs, okay, and now you see a dog standing right there, and what do? Now you are scared, and that scare, somehow that fear turns into stress when you see that dog approaching you. Now what do? Either you are, I mean, if you are brave enough, you will stand, or if you are sensible enough, you will just stand at one side and, let the dog pass or let the go without doing any action. But other way, you can choose to run away from it, right? So these the instant reaction which you give to a situation where you are feeling the emotion of fear and stress and anxiety. That is stress. Now, is a stress bad? Well, I would say stress can be typically okay. Yeah, you can ignore him. So depending on the people and their state, I mean, a lot of time it happens. We know a lot of things, like say exams, right? So exams, you study well, you do everything well, but while writing the exam, something happens and you're just gone blank. So it depends how you handle your emotion, and that comes from your emotional intelligence and how you work on that. So coming back to, is stress bad? I would say stress can be of two types. First is positive and negative. Now, not all the stresses is bad. It depends on the situations, and again, how you handle that situation. So, to give a very simple example, have you ever felt nervous before giving a presentation, or going on up on the stage, or speaking in front of people, or presenting your idea? Well, that's a very, very normal human tendency which happens with most of us at times. But that stress, if handled well, can give you confidence to present well, right? That is called the nervousness and the anxiety which you feel at the very moment right before doing something which is new for you, which you haven't done anytime soon. And when you handle it well, that emotion turns into your strength. Now this is where emotional intelligence come, how to handle your emotions and how to turn them into your strength. Other ways, now it can go wrong as well, when you don't know how to handle things and you start panicking and you go otherwise. So no matter how much you have studied, no matter how brilliant you are, but if you are not able to perform well in that particular 2 hours or 3 hours of exam, so you won't score well. That's a very genuine example. Now, causes of negative stress. So, as you know, they can be like, as a human, we don't play a single role from our start from the morning to the evening. Okay, maybe we all are playing different roles, right? We are daughters, we are, we are siblings, and we are colleagues at works, we are students. So you see how many roles, like just I explained you four roles already, right? In the same way, stress cannot happen by just one single means. There are various means by which it can happen, and there are different things you have to do about all of them when it comes to handling stress. First can be environmental stress, say noise pollution or air pollution, right? Other can be social stress, like overcrowding or population. Say if you have social anxiety, then you will be very anxious or very, in fear to go in the social out state. And then there can be interpersonal things like behavior of others or your own behavior, personal thought. It can also cause you stress, and it also becomes very, clinical in terms when you don't talk it out. The thing is, if we are not able to recognize our emotions, if we are not able to know what exactly is happening, and we if not able to talk it out or to understand, then we cannot solve it. And if you keep on suppressing your stress and emotion for a long time, then it can defect in your personality for a long run. Okay, a very simple example could be that in childhood, say if parents are not giving so much, freedom for a kid to present their views or to talk about what they feel of life and everything, then later in life when they grow up, they will always be having that, that one thing will be missing, and they won't be having that much confidence or self-esteem or self-confidence to stand in front and speak what they truly think and to put in their idea in front of others. So the personal can be your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's very, very important to, keep a regular check on yourself from time to time, and to label your emotions and to recognize the patterns. See, every time it can happen, stress can happen in a regular, it can be irregular or regular. Again, we have to analyze and observe how the things are going, and we have to analyze the pattern, that why it's happening. Is it happening only in a certain situation, or is it happening with everyone? For example, say if you are going to present, like if you are going to present something verbal, okay, like say you are going to give a speech, you are good at it. Okay, you don't feel any stress no matter how many people are sitting over there. You just go and give it, and you are very much confident about it. But every time you are asked to sit and write something in front of people alone or alone in the room, you start panicking, you feel like you're going blank. So these are two states, right? So you have to understand in which state and what's the pattern that certain emotion is coming back and affecting your emotional health. Next slide, please. So now talking about the response to high level stress. Okay, then again, I would like to tell you that there are responses which can be physiological or psychological. Now, physiological are the responses which you can measure and can see in your body. See, if you are stressed, you start sweating, your heart start pounding, or heartbeat, start gaining weight and fatigue and higher cholesterol. Now, the physiological and psychological health are interrelated. Why? If you are stressed and you are, trying to suppress it through some meaning, and then you don't feel like doing things, right? You are suppressing your emotions. You are what happening in here, you are not trying to understand that. And when we, ignore it for a very, very long time, then it becomes a habit and a part of our routine. And if we keep on doing that, it actually affects our physical health as well. So these are two different aspects in which you can see the, responses to how stress happens. And And actually you can observe it in both the ways. Say there are days where we don't feel like doing it. We have enough of the work, we have all the facilities to do it, but we just don't feel like getting out of the bed or getting the work done, right? So it's not about you cannot do it, it's not even about the work is really hard. Mostly it's about what you are being suppressing for a very long time. It has been in there, and now we are turning into something called procrastination. Okay, and people say procrastination can be because of being lazy or something, but it's scientifically proven that it happens when you are not very sure about the task you are about to pick and how to go about it, and you are not very confident about it. That time you choose to dodge the task in order to feel good about it, but later if you keep on doing it, it becomes a stress. Now again, a very simple example I would give you that we all have came across this that tendency of students to just mug up the things a day before their exam, and next day they just go and write it off. Well, no matter how it is, but this entire situation from the phase where they are not actually studying until the day of their exam, even if they're not studying but their mind is there, and now that is causing us stress. Okay, and this might can convert into something which can create a situation of panic attacks, or if it gets severe, then panic attacks can get clinical, and that's very very dangerous because it happens within 5 minutes, and if not treated well, then you know people can lose their life as well. It can be as serious as that. Next slide please. So now we know that there are other factors which affect the stress, and how we can observe the stress. Now how do we cope with the stress? Again, there are two perspectives, negative and positive. For negative methods, we can go ahead with having alcohol, smoking, using drugs, or caffeine in order to suppress the things. Because when you do all of these things, your neurological health goes for a toss for some time, and that numbs your neurological process, whatever is going on, your thinking process, and you kind of feel very calm, very composed, and numb in that order. But how it is affecting you right when you are out of that zone where the effect of alcohol or smoking is out, you again panic a lot. And this time it's double, because every time the stress happen, you go to it, but it's not gonna solve anything. It's a very momentary thing which might make you feel good, but it's not a permanent solution. And when you don't understand it, over the time it becomes a habit. And that's when people say that we're becoming addictive to something. Being addictive doesn't happen in one single day. It's a habit, it's an activity which you do over and over time, and it always starts with one. So it's very very important to make correct choices at the very first moment when you are facing something. The positive methods to cope with stress would be exercise, meditation, yoga, positive attitude, time management, taking breaks. Now, I would like to talk about something very important, which is positive attitude. Okay, it will be little contradictory for all of you to think in that way that positive can be negative if not taken effectively. Okay, what happening now is we are very very rushed towards being positive. Like every time you go to internet, you go to social media, everyone is like be positive, do good, you have it and you can do it and everything. Fine, but that kind of content creates a pressure on the person to be good. Like very simple example, say if I'm not feeling well, say if I have if I lost someone, if I lost my loved ones, okay, and now I'm not feeling well, I'm in that grief, and I'm trying to get out of it and to accept the fact that they are not there anymore, okay. And now when I see someone telling me that be positive, it's okay, be positive, be positive, and if I tend to go ahead with their advice on their way. They are not wrong, they're just trying to take care of me, and that's why they're saying, keep the hope, be positive, just keep going. But if I go in that way, it won't help me to truly conquer my grief. Now, talking about grief, there in psychology there are defined 5 stages of grief, which happens eventually in 5 different stages. And the last and the most important step to it is acceptance. Okay, it starts with grief and it goes till acceptance. In between, you face anger, you face depression, you face loneliness, and those are the stages where you have to uh, go through all of them one by one, and only if you are able to make through all the stages, you will be very sure to accept the fact that, okay, this is the thing, it happened, and I'm going to deal with it, and this is the consequence, and this is the final result, so I'm going to accept it. Now, if you don't go that way and you just, suppress your emotion or ignore your emotion and go ahead with what word is saying and telling you to be positive, then trust me, it's not gonna work for you. Like, all of us are individuals and all of us are very, very different from each other, and how our nature is, how we, see things, how we perceive things is very different from one another. So, what might work for someone else might not work for you, but listening and going to the same race and joining the same line, it might not hurt someone else, but it might hurt you in a long run, because you won't be understanding how to understand your own emotions, how to work on them. Okay, and then when you ignore them, you are suppressing them and making them a part of your personality, which later will affect you in a long run. Now, measures to deal with the stress. First is prioritizing self care. Now, when I say self care, a very vague idea comes, just going out, chilling with friends, and, just having the favorite food. Well, that does count into self care, and you should do it once in a while. You all deserve it. We all deserve it. But what exactly self care I'm talking about is the first slide, the questions which I showed you, and the thing which I said, that it's important to reflect from time to time and in different measures. You see, if stress is not happening from one particular source, then you have to reflect from different particular areas, like how I'm doing it in my academics, how I'm doing at my work, how I'm doing with my personal relationships, how am I doing as a human being. Okay, just because we are good with family, we are good with our friends, doesn't mean that that's the only way which makes us a good human. How you are good with the people who you don't know, how you are with the people with whom you might not expect something to give them back, right? And how you behave with them. There comes the vision, and there comes your personal values, what you have learned and what you believe in. Okay, so self care in terms to sit with yourself, to reflect on yourself in different areas and find the solution. And it's very important to have a solution oriented mind, because problems are already there. So all we need is to find solutions. Second would be set a goal. Okay, now setting a goal again might happen in three different process. Okay, it can be short term, it can be long term, and it can be very long term. Say, uh, if I have to plan my week, okay, I go to my calendar from Monday to Sunday, and from Monday to Friday it would be my work stuff and how I supposed to go about my weekend. That is different thing. Now this is my very short term course. Now going to the next goal planning, how I'm gonna spend my 3 months, what and all I have to achieve in academics, in terms of my working, in terms of my skill. Okay, how I'm gonna do next 3 months, that will be my long term goal. Now how I'm gonna do in 5 years, where I see myself in 5 years, doing what, in what kind of social economic situations, in what kind of atmosphere, in what kind of surrounding of people. That is again different. So now you see, setting a goal isn't just making a to-do list It's one day at a time. But when you are planning for long term, breaking it down in different chunks is very, very important to give you clarity what you're going about and how to go about. Making a plan is important, then writing it down. Why writing? Why not verbal thing, and why writing is important? Because when you write, you get the clarity. Because when you are writing it, then your thought is going in there, and when you put that idea and the thought on the paper, you get the clarity what exactly you are talking about, right? Next is to get the support. Well, um, apart from anything else like doing exercise, relaxation, regular sleep, it's also very important, okay? And eating well, having healthy food. It's not just having food, but what you are eating and how you are eating is also very important. Getting support is something which I would like to talk about because that's not most of the people does. What happens is every time we feel stressed, we don't tend to go and talk to our loved ones. We don't tend to tell ki ha this is going on, I don't know how to deal with it. What we go ahead with is like going with a simple task that if the stress is happening, I will deal it with somehow, just keep quiet and keep it inside me. That won't help. I'm not saying maybe it can help with you. It can, it can help you to handle the situation better if you are keeping it within yourself and you're trying to solve it. But it would be better if you go ahead and talk to the people who actually care for you. See, the main reason why I am here speaking today is to interchange the perspectives, right? Means it would have been very easy for all of you to went on Google to Google stress management techniques or productivity techniques. But why we actually here right now is to listen to my personal belief and my personal perspective how to deal with things or how I see things in my life. So when you change perspectives, we are learning. Okay, when I say something, maybe you can pick up something good from it. When I learn from someone else, maybe I listen to them and I can pick up something from them. So in the same way, when you share your stress, when you share the stressful situations with your loved ones, with your friends, or whom you believe actually care for you, the first thing they listen, okay, first thing will be like you are venting it out, so you'll be actually feeling light about the situation. And when you actually able to, it's a very powerful process to convert thought into word and then write it down. Three stages, very powerful. When when a thought comes into your mind and you turn it into words and you speak it out, then you are presenting it, okay? And then while presenting, you are accepting the idea, okay, this is the problem. For a very simple example, if I'm stressed with my exams, if am stressed with my academics, like a lot of pressure is there, a lot of assignment and CIAs are there. Now, if I'm not doing anything about it, that won't help me, okay? But if I'm speaking, okay, these are the things, assignment, exams, and lessons, these are the things which I'm stressed about. So now I'm accepting the problem, you see. Now I'm accepting the problem. Okay, these are the things I have to work on. Now we're coming on the next process, which is the solution, right? So I'll come up with a different solution for assignment, for exams, and for my lessons, self study, right? Now you can make a different timetable, or you can take help with your friends, or whatever. Like that's depend on situation and the problem. So speaking it out and getting support is something which you shouldn't be, feel bad about it. Asking for help isn't gonna make you any little. I mean, it's a very, very, as a human being, the least we can do for each other is to be there to support each other at our hard times. And that's a very core meaning of being a human being. So these are the couple of measures which you can use to, cope up with your stress at times. Uh, Slide, please. Now, coming to the topic Productivity. Again, I would say it's a very subjective thing. Like, what productivity is for me is not for others. Okay, now again I would like to explain it through the example. And now why I'm giving so many examples is so that we all we can relate to the things, because saying a lot of theory, saying a lot of things which you can't relate with won't really help to understand what exactly I'm talking about. So now, talking about productivity, why it's subjective is, say, okay, well, as all of us are students, so I would say that, sorry, a person A is preparing for their, maths exam, okay, and a person B is preparing for their physics exam. Now, in terms, if person A is preparing for their mathematics exam, they have to solve the sums, they have to find the solution, so they have to keep on revising the formulas and everything. If they are doing that in, say, in the day they decided that I will solve these many solutions today, I will learn these many formulas today, that is productivity for them if they are doing it. Okay, now in the same way for physics person as well. Now if mathematics person is studying physics, just to distract themselves or do something else, or just because they don't want to go there at the time to study maths because they feel it's hard, and just to linger around, they are going with physics, and they are like, I'll read this one topic of physics and then I'll go to maths. Now you see the pattern. I mean, if the person is not achieving the purpose, if they are not able to achieve what exactly they're looking forward to, then no matter how much busy you are, then no matter how much work you are doing in the entire day, it won't help you, and that won't be productive. So why I gave you this example is that productivity is not being busy. Okay, being busy is a very different thing, and being productive is again a different thing. When you tend to achieve what you actually working on to fulfill your purpose, to get things done, that is productivity. And if you are doing a lot of things in the entire day which are completely unrelated to your purpose and what you are looking forward to, then it's just as good as busy without business. You are just keeping yourself busy to do something but actually not productive, and you're doing it without a thought. So ways to to be more productive at your work, first would be focus on one task at a time. It's very, it's the, again I would say, the trend of being positive, the trend of multitasking. It's being very hyped up in our generation, and whenever you go on social media or anywhere. But that's not exactly how our brain functions. We are human beings, okay? We are human beings, and we can only focus on one thing at one time. Now, when you say, no, ma'am, I can do this also, I can do that also. But the thing is, you might be doing different things, but you see the quality of the work. Again, the same thing. It doesn't matter how much quantity you are doing, but if the quality isn't good, you won't be getting that benefit out of it. Okay, you can do different things at one time, but your mind won't be present at any of it to exactly, feel it, to exactly be there, and to learn something out of it. Okay, so first thing would be that focus on one task at one time. Now again, taking breaks is very, very important. Why? And now there are different techniques to take break. Like, what we exactly tend to think of while taking a break is, that if we are studying, we just go to check Instagram for say break. But again, we were studying, we were on our phones or laptop or say computer, whatever it is, and then you are going on your phone for break. You are not giving your mind that break to relax, to see things, or to breathe. Okay, you are not giving your eyes rest. So that kind of break doesn't really help, because it's just a change in the content. Maybe you were studying your, maybe you are studying your psychology stuff, and now you're going to Instagram content. There is a change in the content, in content, but you are still feeding your brain, and that's not break. So what could help you to take, proper breaks could be, just drink water, just sit for some time, just close your eyes, sit for 5-10 minutes, just focus on your breathing, or just go for a walk. Okay, and then come back to your desk, just go get some fresh air and then come back and start working again, and then you feel relaxed. Okay, so there are different myths how to take break also, that also need to be broken in order to be productive, because this is not any new, but this might happen a lot of times that people study for 30 minutes and they go take a break for 5 minutes on Instagram, and that 5 minute turn into 2 hour, and you don't even realize. So now you see the break in the productivity, so that not gonna help. And while I'm saying all these things, the major thing which we have to focus on is being conscious. Since the moment you wake up in the morning until the moment you go back to your bed, you have to make conscious choices. Okay, something where you're actually thinking, okay, I have these two choices and now I'm choosing this one, and you are making a decision over there. So it's very important to be in the present moment to see what's happening and why you are doing things, not like blindsided and you just keep on doing things. That won't help. Then I would say focus on the biggest task first. Why though? Because when you start with the biggest task, first thing it helps you to continue to sit and work through a span of time where you can actually uh, remain concentrated, and you remain faithful toward your work. And when the big task is done, you actually feel that confidence in you that, okay, one big task is done, now I can go to ahead. Well, this is not a hard fast rule. Again, I said whatever works for everyone is different. So maybe some people start with doing the small work, the easier work, and they complete their easy task and then they go to the big work. So it completely depend on the person how they deal with it. But I would say focusing on the biggest task, first thing, it gives you authority to sit throughout the span, and then it can, it boosts your confidence really well that you can quickly finish your small task. As we talked about, setting small objectives, breaking your goal in different, in different chunks, and then going about it will really help you to get the clarity of exactly what you're doing and how to go about it. Um, Now, there is a strategy called Pomodoro strategy, okay, and it's very effective and very scientifically proven that. So this, according to this strategy, what we do is we take if we're sitting to work or to study, whatever it is, we go for a span for 25 minutes. It can be for many who are good at concentration, it can be 25 minutes, or the newbie, they can start with 20 minutes. And after those 20 minutes, you take a break of 5 minutes, and then again you get back. So now those 20 minutes you are working like properly, you are concentrating on whatever your work is, and then you are taking a small break of 5 minutes, and again you have to be very thoughtful about what kind of break you are taking. And then you take that break, and then you refresh your mind, and then you again get back for 20 minutes. Now if you are doing this 20 20 20 even for 5 times, whatever it is depending, that will help you not just to understand the things you are doing, to concentrate in a good way and to get the work done, but also it will help you to relax yourself. Now it's very simple, you can think it of two ways: sitting to do something straight for 5 hours without taking any break, and you are bagging your head in your work, and after a time you cannot understand what are you doing, because that's how our human brain is designed. We cannot function uh, at a stretch. The normal time period for which a human being can concentrate on some task is 25 to 30 minutes. And now after that you are taking 5 minutes break, and you are putting yourself to reboot, just how we do for the our equipment, say electronic. Whenever your phone get discharged, you put it on charge, right? So taking break is like putting energy back in our mind, in our bodies. Again, one more thing is like whenever you are planning to study or say for some theory thing, okay, or something which you wanna it's very complicated and it's very theoretical. So right before you sit to study, it's a very thing and it's very effective. It worked for me, so I'm sharing with you that you can go ahead with doing some physical exercise which helps you, you know, to which helps you to sweat and your heart rate is high after doing that exercise. And right after that, take a 5-minute break, drink water, and sit whatever you are studying. It will really help your brain. Now, why it happens? Because when you are doing the exercise, the blood circulation in your entire body goes well, and then the blood in your brain and everywhere it's in a flow, and then it's able to reboot the entire system, and you are able to focus well. Last would be limiting interruption. That is very very important. When we sit for some work, we are having many kind of interruptions, which you can, again, it's different for every person. Like for me, it is music. Music can be used in a positive way or to getting distract as well. For someone, music can help you to concentrate better. For some, they start dancing after some time. So limiting your interruptions and how you're dealing with it and how you sit with it, it's again on you. So these are few measures which you can follow to be more productive and on your work, and not just being productive on your work, taking care of your health, taking care of your psychological health and your emotional health is equally important. Now, this is a very normal tendency when we say about health that only physical health comes to our mind, and we don't really think about psychological and emotional health. These two are very very different, and both of them, just how our physical health need exercise, similarly our psychological needs, health also needs exercise. Say playing puzzles or brain games that help you to sharpen your brain and to make it to give some activity to your brain so that it keeps on working well. And same way in the emotional, what you can do is to sit, to reflect, to think about how things are going with yourself, how you can make it better. Because as a human, if you are not updating yourself, if you are not making yourself better after after regular intervals, then it won't be really fruitful to get this life. I mean, if we are having something in us different from all the other living creatures in the world, if you see, there are thousands and thousands of species living out there, but we as a human being have got something very special in us, to tendency to learn, to share, to exchange our perspectives. So it's very important to keep on updating ourselves and keeping a regular check on all our three mental healths on a different perspectives. Change slide, please. Yeah. So this was about it, and I would like to share a very simple story. So all of you know eagle, right? So that's a in the domain of birds. When we go about eagle, it's very sharp and it's very powerful. We go about in a way that uh, eagles are, they fly high and they fly above the clouds. They don't even go beyond the clouds. No matter if it's raining below there, they will be flying up above. But there comes a time when the beak of the eagle, it grows in a way that it start getting inverted after some time, and it cuts their throat. Okay, it becomes really sharp after some time as they grow in their life, that it cuts their throat, and it can be dangerous and deadly as well. So what they have to do is, after a regular interval, when the beak started growing, they have to bang it on, they have to put it on some stone, or with the help of some rock or something, they have to break their beak, and it's a very painful process, as you can imagine. Breaking your own body part is, again, is a very painful process. but they have to do it, and after some time it grows back. But now you see, in order to survive, you have to go through certain kind of pains, okay? So that is the moral, that we have to keep on ourselves updating. And change is not easy, trust me, change is not easy. There will be very painful processes, there will be stages where don't feel like doing it anymore, you feel like giving up. But trust me, that is the exact moment where you feel, that is the very moment where you need yourself the most, okay? So this is life, and there will be different things, there are different kind of things, different stresses. And as you can see, whatever going between Russia and Ukraine, okay, and the kind of a stress people are going through over there, that is, that will be in their heart, in their mind throughout their life. Those small kids who have seen bombs over there, and who have seen their parents leaving them, and the blood and everything. So that imprint will be there in their mind forever. So now you see, life is not really fair to everyone, and it's never fair. But if you see, that's the beauty of life, that it always give you a chance to make yourself better. And the process of change, obviously it is painful, that's why most of the people don't even go through it. But the one who go through it make the change, and then they live with it. And how blessed they are to do it, because it takes a lot to, I can see a lot of things, we all are having a lot of knowledge, but until and unless we really imply on it, nothing will come out, right? So having that knowledge, learning things, and implication is also very important. So yeah, that would be it. And I would like to say, you guys been very lovely and good listeners. So thank you for that. And please take care of yourself on all the different measures: psychological health, your physical health, your emotional health. And keep on a check on your regular, emotions from time to time, and all your stresses. And stress is a part of life, but don't make it your entire life. So try to solve it, break it down, find solutions, talk it out, ask for help. And this is how it goes. Just keep on learning, just keep on living, and be a better version of yourself every day. Because it's all about choices, and we all have different choices on a different day. So make a good one for yourself. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really great and it was really informative, and it might really help us, and we'll sure implement the things, and we learned a lot. I hope, let's see if anybody has any questions. Do you guys have any questions? If you have any questions, ping it down in the chat box.
Actually have a question.
Go
So as
on.
you said, stress is, a part of our life. Then why don't people perceive it as a normal thing? When a person is dealing with stress, is often looked down upon. What are your opinions on that?
That's a very good question. Thank you for that. So now, when you see, again, when I told you that there are positive stresses and negative stresses, but in our society there is a difference. Because as we talk about, again, a very simple example, when I say health, most of the people were going ahead with physical health. Say if someone says that their head is, oh sorry, their leg is broken, then they can say that yeah, it might have been painful. But no one talks about the kind of pain you keep in here, and you keep in your emotions, and the kind of suppression you go through the entire process, okay? So that is one change. It's not exactly how we can portray that the entire society is looking down to the people who are going through stress. Because scenario is changing, and it will only change when we talk it out, when we talk about it. And again, the same thing, if we accept. Okay, acceptance is a big thing over here. And until and unless we don't tend to accept things, we won't be able to find the solution for things. So things are slowly changing. And yeah, I mean, it depends on different aspects as well. Like some people, just because something happened in their past and now they are facing some kind of stress in their present, they tend to, harm a third person, which might not be necessary. Okay, that that might be, and that completely depends on person to person how their personal nature is and how they go about things. So yeah, I would say, I mean, things are changing and it's only can change when we accept things and when we try to learn from it and we talk about it.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Stress makes me lazy. Again, well, okay, it's a very different perspective. Stress makes you lazy. I mean, what normally happens is that whenever we are under stress, we tend to, feels observe some kind of physiological changes in our body, and there are certain things which maybe increase in your heart rate and your sweating and whatever it is. It's mostly that probably. 1 minute, I need to check the question. Okay, Ashifa, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. So, how to manage emotional stress of permanent gains and losses? Okay. So, as we talk about permanent gain and losses, I assume you are meaning that losing some loved ones in that sense. Okay, so see, as I told, there are 5 stages of grief. That starts with denial, because first stage will be you won't be able to accept that someone is not there or the permanent loss is there. Okay, then you go to the second stage, which is anger. You try to portray it. You don't know how to react about it, so you just try to the very anger is like a umbrella. you know Whenever we are facing different emotions and when we are not able to recognize them or to label them or to accept them, we put it all under that one umbrella called anger. Okay, when we are being angry on others, we people usually tend to go away with you, go away from you, and you will be like that happened in the heat of the moment. But that's not over, because it wasn't anger. It was some other emotion which led to your anger and you don't even know about it. Okay, so there are 5 stages which you deal with, and then you go to the permanent stage, which is acceptance. Okay, so that is how you take care of your emotional stress in terms of permanent losses and gain. Say, if you are losing a job, okay, if you lost your job, now first thing will be denial. You don't know, all of a sudden this happened, you have responsibilities, you have bills to pay, you have things to take care of, you have family to take care of. You will be going on a negative way that I can't accept why this happened, there was not any fault. Now you go to the anger. Okay, and then you go to a different phase. So these are the phases, but now here when the emotional intelligence part come, that okay, the problem has come, but how do we go about it? Okay, and that can only happen if you are thorough with your own self. People say that understanding the word, understanding the concept of this and that, but understanding your own self is it's a very diverse, I would say, and a very critical process to understand your own emotions and how you functions and how your brain functions, and your own emotions and how you function in different scenarios. So now you can have two choices, that dealing with your permanent loss in a negative way, that you just go crib about it, you just tell that there was not any fault of mine and again this happened, how do I go about it? You might slip into depression, you might start being angry or going again negative ways to stress handle. You can take shelter of alcohol or smoking or whatever it is. And or the other option, I would say, that you accepted that this is the fact, these are the circumstances because I lost my job, but now what do I do? Okay, and it's never the end of the world, trust me. No matter whatever is happening, the God only gives you those many problems which you are capable of handling. They will never put something which might, which you cannot handle. But all this need is to have faith in yourself, to believe in yourself that, okay, if this has happened to me, it has happened for a reason. Okay, maybe the next job I'm going for, or the next solution I'm going for, has something very interesting for me, or a very fruitful process where I can actually learn something and grow as a person. So take it in that way. See, being positive is not ignoring your problems, not ignoring your emotion. Being positive is accepting all of it and still keeping your solution oriented mind. Things happen, challenges come, problem happens, but now how you accept it and go about it is the main thing, and that's what make us different from one another. Because few people learn from doing mistakes over and over again, but few might learn from others' mistake and just go from the side and don't even do that mistake. So that completely depends. So I hope I have answered your question. Um, Stress and pressure are the same thing, but term with different aspects. Okay, see, so stress is the outcome which you get from pressure. Okay, say, say you have exams in 2 days. Okay, and you are still left with 5 units to complete. Okay, so now that is kind of pressure which is being created on you. Okay, and if you are not doing something about it, that turns into stress. You getting me, Abdul? Yeah. So this is a very simple example. If you try to understand that pressure is, a constant, pressure is constant, but how do you go about it is what can cause and can save you from stress. Say, if you are having a pressure of completing your work, but you make a proper plan, you set a goal, you write it down, and then you find the solution that from this time to this time I'll do this work, I'll take regular breaks, I'll eat healthy so that I don't fall sick and I can study well. I will do exercise so that my physical health is fine, and then I can sit and actually study in a good way. So either you can go with that thing, and either you can just underlay the entire thing and ignore the entire solution. And if you are doing that, then your pressure becomes stress. Okay, pressure causes you stress. So yeah, those aren't the same things. Pressure is something which causes stress. I hope I answered your question. Is there any other question? How is anxiety and stress is different? Okay, so anxiety is more of a psychological thing which happens. Okay, and it is a term why stress is different. See, again the same thing. Stress is a part of life. Okay, on a regular basis, on 24 hours, we feel different kind of stress, but we deal with it. Anxiety is something which is built over the times. Okay, and again it's from different areas, that you can be social anxious, you can be anxious in a particular situation, or you can anxious to a particular person as well. So anxiety is more of a clinical and a critical stage where your stress is being suppressed over a regular period of time, and then you go ahead with it not solving it, and then it turns into clinical anxiety. And when it turns into clinical anxiety, then it can only be solved through medication and psychotherapy. At the initial stages of anxiety, psychotherapy can help. Psychotherapy is nothing much when you speaking, you getting out, you accepting your things, you saying it out is very important, and that's the main process in psychotherapy as well. Okay, if you have anxiety, you go, you tell how you're feeling, how you go about things, and what exactly is happening. And if it's clinical, then you have to take care of medication as well. So Anxiety, I would say it's a very, it's on a very clinical side and psychological side, while stress is something normal with all the human beings and everyone. So stress, in a very simple way, if you see it, it can happen in anyone. It's a response you give to a situation, okay? It's a response you give to a pressure. That is a stress. But anxiety is suppressing your emotions, ignoring them, and just going about something which can cause very major effect in your entire personality at times. That would be anxiety. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you for asking that question. Is there any other questions?
Guys, do you have any other questions?
Uh, does depression really exist in this world? Okay, yes, it does. I mean, okay, I would like to talk to this person, whoever asked this question. I wanted to know what exactly made you think that depression doesn't exist in this world. I want to understand the intensity of this question. Can you please unmute if possible? Okay. Okay, so okay, all right. So to answer your question, does depression really exist in this world? Yes, it does. Depression is another psychological condition which is, happens over a period of time through different reasons. And again, as Asifa said, yes, it can be mild depression or clinical depression, again, depending on when you get to know about the tendency and when how you are treating and how you are going about it. So yes, there are different stages of things. They are like just how, see, it's just how, but again, I would like to explain it with the example. Say if you get a wound, okay, if you get a wound, so initially it will be fresh, you will be getting blood out of it or whatever it is. But after a over period of time, it will get dry and tissues will start, getting together, and it will hide the wound after some time. So there, in the same way, there are different stages to everything. And all these, whether it's anxiety, whether it's, uh, depression or whatever other conditions are, all these happens over a period of time. And because all these are related to our emotions and how we go about it, it becomes really important for us to talk about and to accept things. So depression, in the initial stages, it would be something like that: you don't enjoy doing things which you really like, or you don't, tend to socialize much, you don't try to speak much. But after a couple of segment, or after some time, you start getting comfortable in that zone. So slipping into depression, and there is a very fine line in between. So again, that can only be taken care when we are conscious, when we are currently present on the life, and when we know that, how we are living this life, how we are going about things. That can only happen when we reflect on ourselves from time to time and take our time to write things and to journal things and to find a solution about them. So that is how you will be knowing that this is the life I'm living. These are the things which are happening with me. These are the positive. These are the negatives. These are the solutions I can go on with. So, yep, depression exists in this world, and yes. Is there any other question? Uh, okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you, ma'am.